Hey guys, GHZD here, back with another video. Today, I'm bringing you another episode of Realm Busters. In this episode, I'll be covering over whether or not your soulbound remains if an enemy restores its own health to full, if the mini gulpids count towards soulbound, and as a little bonus, if the debuff unstabled actually does teleport you to random locations, because I've actually never had it happen to me before, or at least I've never really acknowledged its existence until this point. So if you're confused as to what soulbound damage is, it's a threshold requirement in terms of damage as a percentage of the enemy's health that you need to deal to a boss that enters you into a raffle among the other players who also obtain soulbound to get loot, which is blue bags, cyan bags, and white bags, because those are the only ones that you can see. Essentially what this means is that it doesn't actually matter what class you play as long as you hit these thresholds, and you'll be equally as likely to get loot as everybody else. So I don't want to hear any more of this "priest sucks" crap, alright? It has sufficient DPS to hit thresholds in public ocean trenches, guys, which is saying a lot. Jeez. So then the myth I want to test first is whether or not your soulbound threshold is removed if an enemy you damaged restores its own health to full. To test this then, I need to find an enemy that drops guaranteed loot for at least 2 people and can heal itself back to full. I initially thought of the sarcophaguses in the Tomb of the Ancients because they get healed by the priests that surround them. However, I'm pretty sure they don't drop guaranteed loot for at least 2 people, which is crucial to the experiment, which I'll explain later. Then I remembered that the Deadwater Docks Bilgewater gets healed by his parrots and also drops a guaranteed speed and dex for 2 people, which is perfect. Basically, we would push the boss into his healing phase, Vanilla would then kindly stop damaging and allowed me to do a ton of damage during this phase to make sure I did in fact hit the threshold for soulbound by overcompensating. I then backed off and we let Bilgewater replenish his health back to 100%, Vanilla then finished off the boss, which took a lot longer than we were expecting. So if I don't get anything, it's disproving it. Oh, hey, got something.
Dex and
I got Dex and Speed as well. Well, that just disproves the myth right there and then, guys. Hell yeah.
You want my Dex and Speed?
Hell no, dude. That's garbage pots. But luckily, I could still buff him and I could help clear away the big parrot. So TLDR here is that I damaged the boss, we let him heal to full, and then I didn't do any more damage. If letting an enemy heal back to full does in fact remove your soulbound, then you'd expect me not to get any loot beyond this point, which in this case was disproven as I did end up getting speed and dex. To make sure this result wasn't because I accidentally shot the boss once whilst I was helping clear away the parrots, we repeated the experiment making sure that I was further away so that no stray shots would hit Bilgewater. We also had Dry Bowser here to help speed things up a bit with the pally buff, but he did not do any of the damage. And as predicted, I got the loot once again. So for this myth, I can safely say that if an enemy does recharge its own health to full, it will not remove your soulbound. The next myth I wanted to test involves Gulpid the Slime God. If you're not familiar with the sewers boss all too well, his second phase involves him disappearing into the sewer water and duplicating himself, which then further subdivides into 4 smaller versions. The myth here suggests that any damage dealt to these 4 enemies won't count towards your soulbound. Like the previous myth, it helps that the sewers dungeon does have a guaranteed death drop rate for at least 2 people, which means if I did hit the soulbound threshold during this phase, I would get a death. So sort of like last time, I would only damage Gulpid in this second phase. Dry Bowser and Vanilla backed off and let me deal all of the damage during this duplication phase, and again Dry Bowser was only there for his buff that would speed up the process. After I had dealt all my damage, I refrained from attacking and then I let the boss die. We attempted this twice for the sake of it, and on both attempts I got 0. This then suggests that the damage dealt during the Gulpid's clone phase does not contribute towards your soulbound. For the final myth, I mainly just wanted to clarify something for myself, that being whether or not the Trickster's ability is affected by the unstabled debuff. This is actually a main reason why I don't like playing on my Tricksters, because I've heard that getting unstabled makes you teleport to any location within the range of your prism, so places like the Shatters, Sewers, and Avatar, as well as other dungeons that use the unstable debuff. Scares the crap out of me, man, because what if you accidentally land right on top of a shotgun? You're dead. That's what. So I managed to eventually find an avatar. Turns out I spent a good half an hour trying to find the dungeon that confuses me, only to realize I'd been searching for the wrong debuff the whole time. Great. Oh, and guess what? I went into a mountain temple to see if I could get the unstable debuff, and I ended up dying, so that was fun. I love playing the Trickster class. All for the video, I suppose. Anyway, it turns out that the unstable debuff does in fact make you teleport to random locations, which I didn't actually know, or at least I'd never really thought about too much until this point. So yeah, it does actually have an effect, which is pretty cool. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.